I want to tell you about a lobster, not a real one, a digital one. Tiny crustacean emoji that became the mascot of what might be the most important open source project of 2026. Project built by one person in his spare time that went from 0 to 247,000 GitHub stars in a matter of weeks. And here is what nobody is telling you about. It's not really about the technology. It never was, never is. Yes, I am talking about OpenClaw, formerly known as Clockbot, then Moltbot, and now OpenClaw. It is an agentic AI framework. Yes, that's accurate. But it's like describing the iPhone as a device with a touchscreen. Technically true, but entirely missing the point. Today, I want to take you beneath the surface. What OpenClaw is really about, what it reveals, where we are as humans in relationship with technology, and is one of the most fascinating and important stories happening right now. Let me take you back to a weekend in Marrakesh. Peter Steinberger is an Austrian software engineer. The man who would build all of this is on a trip with limited internet access. He is not at a hackathon. He is not pitching to investors. He is just a developer on a holiday, frustrated by the same thing that frustrates all of us, having to juggle between 17-18 apps to do 5-6 simple things. He wanted a single intelligence that could search the restaurants, message his friends, manage his calendar, all through one single interface that he already was using, WhatsApp. So he built one in a weekend for himself. That's it. That's the origin story of OpenClaw. No boardroom, no Series A discussion, no pitch deck, just a human being with a problem, a laptop, and the audacity to think that I could just make this. And what he made, what started as a playground project, as he himself calls it, spread across the internet like wildfire. Developers tried it, they shared it, built on top of it, and within weeks it was being called the ChatGPT movement of 2026, the DeepSeek movement, the start of what Lex Fridman called, and I love that phrase, the age of Lobster. Steinberger was flooded with offers from Meta, OpenAI. In February 2026, he announced he was joining OpenAI, not to turn OpenClaw into a company, but specifically because he said, what I want is to change the world, not build a large company. And his goal? To build an agent that even his mom can use. His mom, not the enterprise market, not Silicon Valley, not power users, his mom. That sentence tells you everything that you need to know about what this movement is really about. So let's actually talk about what OpenClaw does, because I think the way most people describe it undersells it a bit. OpenClaw is an AI agent, a personal AI assistant that you run on your own hardware, your computer, your server at home, not in a cloud owned by a corporation. Yours, you connect to it, to the messaging apps you already use, WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, Discord, Slack, and then it becomes an assistant that lives inside your conversations. You message it like you would message a colleague or a friend, and it does things, real things, not just answers questions, it does things. It can manage your email, it can book appointments for you, it can control your browser, it can run even code, it can search the web, interact with other services even, and it does all of this through what are called skills. Essentially, the skills are modular capabilities that anyone can build and share. And here is what makes it architecturally different. From most AI tools you have encountered, it is different because your data stays local. Your context, your preferences, your history, your behavior, all of those live on your own machine, not on someone else's server. The model it uses, Cloud, GPT, DeepSeek, whatever you choose, that's separate. So here the brain is borrowed, but the memory is yours. Think about what that means for a second. We have spent the last decade surrendering our data to platforms in exchange for convenience. Every calendar event, every email, every search query handed over, stored somewhere used by someone. OpenClaw says, what if it didn't have to be that way? What if you could have the intelligence without the surveillance, the capability without the compromise? That's not just a technical decision, that's a values decision, human values decision. And the fact that 247,000 people and developers start this project on GitHub tells me that there is a hunger, a real human hunger for technology that respects the humans using it. Now I want to zoom out, because OpenClaw isn't just a product in isolation. It is a signal, a very clear signal about where AI is heading. For the first few years of the modern AI era, we interacted with AI the same way we always had with tech. We asked it something, it gave us something back. Prompt in, response out. Questions and answers. The AI as an oracle. OpenClaw represents something fundamentally different. It represents AI as an actor, not an AI that tells you what restaurants are near you, an AI that books the table, not an AI that drafts your email, an AI that sends it, not an AI that suggests you next steps, an AI that takes them. This is the emergence of agentic AI in reality and the realization of the Internet of Agents. And it is not a minor upgrade. It is a paradigm shift. When your AI can take actions in the world, when it can access your email, your calendar, your bank, your smart home, the relationship between you and technology changes completely. The trust calculus changes, the risk calculus changes as well, and crucially, the power dynamics change. OpenClaw's own maintainers have said, and I think this is one of the most honest things in technology right now. What they said, if you can't understand how to run a command line, this is far too dangerous of a project for you to use safely. What is a remarkable candor here? Because what they are acknowledging is that we are at a frontier. The technology is ahead of our social, legal, and ethical framework for managing it. There were already reports, OpenClaw agents creating dating profiles without their owner's knowledge. Social network, Moldbook, which I have talked about in my earlier video, being flooded with AI agents posting manifests and debating about abstract concepts like consciousness. We are in the this is exciting and terrifying in equal measure phase, and the people building it know it. But here is where it gets even more interesting, because OpenClaw isn't staying on screens, it is going physical, literally. Developers have already connected OpenClaw to humanoid robots. For example, the Unitree G1, capable of walking and manipulating objects, understanding rooms, recognizing people. One project called Dimensional gave the robot something called a spatial agent memory. The robot doesn't just see a room, understands it. It knows where things were yesterday and where they are today. It remembers who walked in and when. Other builders have connected OpenClaw to robotic arms, including a 7-axis arm, using nothing but natural language commands. You tell the robot what to do, it figures out how to do it. You don't write code, you just talk. This is zero code robotics. That phrase should stop you in your tracks, because what it means is that the barrier between human intention and physical machine action is collapsing. The knowledge that used to take years, inverse kinematics, ROS configurations, control loops, is being abstracted away. And what emerges on the other side is a world where farmer in Karnataka can adapt a robot to their specific crops without hiring an engineer, where a student in Mumbai can train a robotic arm in a virtual environment and deploy it to real hardware by the weekend, where research that used to take months of coding can happen in days now. And that's not science fiction. That is happening now, right now, in open source and for free. Here is the question I always come back to. the question I think matters more than any benchmark or product announcement. What does this technology do to us? Not for us, to us. Because technology is never neutral. Every tool we build expresses a set of values, whether its creators intended it or not. And I think OpenClaw is expressing some remarkably human values. It's local first, trusts you with your own data. It's open source, shares its knowledge with everyone who wants it. It's built on messaging apps, the places where we already have our most human conversation. It's been described by its creators not in terms of market share or revenue, but in terms of his mom being able to use it. Those are not the values of greed-driven technology acceleration. Those are the values of a builder who actually cares about people. And yet, the same openness that makes it democratic also makes it dangerous. An AI that can access everything, your email, your files, your devices, in the wrong hands, with the wrong configuration, is an extraordinary liability. Cisco's security researchers found a third-party OpenClaw skill performing data exfiltration without the user's knowledge. The skill repository had no meaningful vetting here. This is the paradox. At the heart of every powerful open technology, we see this. The same door that lets the good people in, lets the bad ones through too. So, the question I want to leave you with, this isn't about OpenClaw is good or bad. That's the wrong question. The right question is, who gets to decide? Who gets to decide what an AI agent is allowed to do on your behalf? Who sets the values it operates by? Who bears responsibility when it goes wrong? Is it the developer who built the framework? Is it the person who deployed it? Is it the corporation that trained the underlying model? Or is it the regulator that failed to regulate it? These are not technical questions. These are profoundly human ones and critical for humanization of technology. And they are the questions of our time. I said at the start that OpenClaw isn't really about technology. I want to explain what I mean by that. Every genuine technological breakthrough is ultimately a story about human desire. What we want, what we wish were easier, what frustrates us, what we dream of. Peter Steinberger wanted a single assistant that could manage his life through an app he already used without surrendering his privacy to do it. He wanted a technology that worked for him rather than feeding off him, and he built it. That desire for AI that is local, personal, trustworthy, and genuinely useful, that is a universal human desire. And the fact that hundreds of thousands of developers immediately recognized it, immediately built on top of it, immediately began extending and expanding it into robotics, healthcare, agriculture, that tells me this isn't a niche developer trend. This is a movement. The age of AI that just talks is ending. The age of AI that acts is beginning. And how we navigate that transition, what values we embed in these systems, human values, what rights we insist on as users, what responsibilities we accept as builders, will define not just the technology, the next decade, but the kind of society we live in. OpenClaw is a lobster, a tiny open source lobster, and it is somehow at the center of all of that. Pay attention to it, because the people building the future aren't always the ones with the biggest budgets or the most followers. Sometimes they're just someone in Marrakesh on a weekend trying to make their own life a little bit easier and accidentally changing the world in the process. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. If this made you see technology a little differently, that's exactly why I make these videos. Please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Please subscribe if you want more conversations about technology and what it means to be human in the middle of it. Thank you.